Shrinvatham swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridhi antasthoya badrani vidunoti surat satam. Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves. So, first thing is properly hearing and chanting. That means you understand the subject matter and also try to practice that in your life, implement. Right? The other thing is truthful devotee. This means sincere and serious. Prabhupada explains in the purport, sincere and serious. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. By regular attendance, all that is troublesome to the heart is cleansed. Almost, not completely. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. So this means that if you hear and then you do manan and then you try to apply those teachings in your life, then you get cleansed. If you just hear and you tell others but you don't understand and don't apply in your life, then little benefit is there. So you have to become more serious and more sincere. Tada rajas tamo bhava kama lobhadayascha ye cheta eter anavidam sthitam sattve prasiddhati. As soon as irrevocable loving service means naishti, steady devotional, means you come to nishtha level. Then what happens? The effect of nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes completely happy. So, if you are regularly hearing and reading regularly and doing introspection, manan, and applying, taking diamond points and applying in your life, then you will gradually come to the mode of goodness, sattve prasiddhati, naishtiki bhakti. If you don't do like this, it will take years, maybe lifetimes. For example, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that in 10-15 years of serious bhajan, one comes to platform of nishtha. He crosses anartha nivriti. Lust, all this thing is 10-15 years serious bhajan. What is happening now, Kali Yuga? Taking 15-20 years to become serious. एवं प्रसन्न मनसो भगवत भक्ति योगता भगवत तत्व विज्ञानम मुक्त संगस्य जायते. Thus established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. So now you making even further progress from goodness to pure goodness, Shuddha Sattva. From Sattva Gun to Shuddha Sattva. Just by this Bhagavatam, So that's why we said, you access the knowledge according to your level. And every time you revise the Bhagavatam, then you go to a higher level. If you go like this, Shravan, Manan, Nidhidhyasana. So important. विद्यते हृदय ग्रंथिश्छिद्यन्ते सर्व संशया शियन्ते च अस्य कर्माणि दृष्ट एव आत्मनीश्वरे. Thus the knot in the heart is pierced and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive actions is terminated when one sees the self as master. So now you understand that you are atomic particle of spirit soul, eternal servant of Krishna. You have finished with the wrong identity and now you established on the real identity, not theoretically but practically. Means you're getting realizations. So hear and read. You have to hear and read attentively. Take notes, especially diamond points. And hear and read not one time, but many times. Like we said in the morning, hear one lecture at least 11 times. I know some devotees who have heard lectures 500 times. A series of lecture 500 times. And also 100 times. And they sort of mastered the subject. They make it a whole like a subject, question answers and all that for others. They make a course out of it. So you need to master these things. So what kind of listener am I? The topmost listener is he who comes before the speaker with proper respect and is eager and expert in hearing of Krishna's teachings and pastimes. He has rejected all mundane topics, has faith in the Supreme Lord, hears submissively, always contemplates the knowledge he has heard, and asks relevant questions. He is dear to the Lord's devotee. So, Chataka bird. A Chataka bird does not take water from any source other than the rain cloud. One who does not hear any book other than scriptures concerned with Krishna is called a Chataka listener. Swan. Just as the swan can extract milk from a mixture of milk and water, one who can extract the essential teaching Sargrahi while listening to various topics is called a swan listener. Parrot. Just as a parrot can recite whatever it has been taught, Shukdev Goswami. One who is able to properly repeat the topics he has heard from his teacher and others is called a parrot listener. Fish. Just as a fish that is situated in an ocean of condensed milk quietly drinks milk without blinking its eyes. One who quietly listens with full focus and relishes what he hears is called a fish listener. Now there are four inferior. Wolf. Just as the cry of the wolf frightens the deer attracted by the sweet sound of the flute in the forest, the foolish listener whose questions and comments are a source of frustration and pain to others is called a wolf listener. Burunda bird. Just as the burund bird lives in Himalayas, tells everyone whatever it has heard without doing anything himself. One who repeats what he has heard to others but does not practice it himself is called a burund listener. Bull. Just as the bull does not distinguish between eating sweet grapes or pungent oil cakes, the person who listens to everything without intelligence and discrimination is called a bull listener. Camel. Just as a camel rejects sweet mango leaves to chew bitter neem leaves, one who listens to Krishna's teachings and then eagerly listens to mundane topics is called a camel listener. This is all in the Bhagavad Mahatmya from Skanda Puran. So now we will talk about Manan, right? So Shankaracharya says that in Manan you get 100 times benefit than Shravan. So if you hear for or read for 100 hours and you do Manan for 1 hour, is equal. In 1 hour Manan you can get what somebody is reading or hearing for 100. And he says, if you apply teachings, NIDHIDHYASAN, implement, you get 100 times the benefit of Manan and 10,000 times benefit of hearing. So ideally what you should do is you should read or hear for 1 hour. Then you should do Manan for 1 hour. And then you should do NIDHIDHYASAN for 1 hour. And you will become very rich. You will grow fast, because we have not done that. This is the process described about hearing in Upanishad. If we don't apply the process rightly, then what will happen is we will not make advancement, because we are not serious. One problem of Kali Yuga is we don't remember what we heard yesterday. So that's why we have to start doing this Manan and NIDHIDHYASAN. So what is Manan? Manan is called reflective thinking. You reflect on what you read or you heard, and you try to understand it, like Prabhupada said, try to understand the subject matter from all angles of vision. Because if you hear something but don't understand it, then how you'll get benefit? For example, here it's mentioned that Sattve Prasiddhati, by hearing you come to Sattva Gun. So you can do a Manan at the present, how is your lifestyle? Predominantly, which mode you are living your life? Is it Sattva Gun Is it Rajogun or is it Tamogun? Or what combination of the three? And if you carry on living in this way as you are now, what will happen at the end of life? Right? Now, if you switch to Sattva Gun, say 99% Sattva Gun and half percent Rajo and half Tamo, then what will happen? So, reflection means questioning yourself. In Manan, you question yourself. If I apply this, what is the benefit? If I do not apply this, what is the loss? Like that. Why I should do like this? Why not the way I'm doing now? Why do I have to change? Like this. We have to ask questions. So we'll show you the questions there. Huh? Everyone has got? Okay. Where do I most need to grow right now? Most devotees also don't have a spiritual growth plan. They may want to make progress materially, but spiritually they think everything will happen by chance or by automatically. And they are doing so much, what more to do? Like that. So you have to ask yourself. So you can't do Manan without having a proper place to do Manan. It has to be a distraction-free zone. You need to be peaceful. First you do good sadhana and then you do Manan. Like Srila Prabhupada said, if you're very much disturbed, go in front of Krishna Balram, chant for a long period, then your mind will settle and then Lord will inspire from you and you will be pacified. So like that you have to have a secluded, it has to be in seclusion. Manan is best in a seclusion. You are alone, being alone with yourself. And with a pad and pen and books and lectures, it's like you're doing your own MRI. Manan is like doing your own MRI. And lot of things will come up. And sometimes those things are so nasty that you will get a headache. So after Manan, you should hear nice kirtan and nice prasada. And you should not do Manan in the evening or night time. Otherwise, you will not be able to sleep. Because you will find out what a XYZ you are. You will see all your defects, and it's really taxing for the ego. So good time to do Manan is like early afternoon, or best is after your morning sadhana, you take your breakfast and do your Manan. And in the beginning stages, when you're new to Manan, don't do for a long time. That will be too heavy for start with 15 minutes. Then you can go half an hour, then 1 hour. Because I've seen when I've done at night, then the sleep is gone. You just can't sleep. So you have to be practical. right? But it is required because mananat papastrati, in Gayatri Tantra it is said. By manan, you catch your mistakes, your faults, what wrong you have done, you know, how many years you wasted not being sincere, serious, cheating yourself. All these things will come up in the manan. So you have to, but you have to do it. Like you see, Guru Maharaj is always also saying that you should do manan from time to time in his Japa classes, Zoom classes, right? And Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, when you're on sadhana bhakti level, then you do Ekadasi to Ekadasi manan. And when you are on bhava bhakti, you do daily manan. And you will be surprised that all these big, wealthy people, they daily do manan. They have a special room just to do their manan, reflective thinking, introspection. All big persons like Bill Gates and Elon Musk, all them, they have special. They do manan every day. So we have to do manan on three things because Prabhupada said health, sadhana, seva. So we have to do manan about our health, how we can sustain good health for even during old age, because that's the time you have to take off. And if the health is not supporting, how you will take off? You cannot intensify. So is your health going to support you until departure? So what you need to do, what you're not doing, what you're doing wrong, you correct your diet, your sleep, like that, everything, your exercise. Then you have to do manan about your sadhana, right? Your chanting, how is your chanting on a scale of 1 to 10? How would you rate your chanting, right? And how is your reading? And how is your, means Panchanga Bhakti, how is your Dham Yatra? What do you do when you go to Dham Yatra? Because there are two types of devotees. One devotee is the surfing devotee. In Goa, they go on the beach and they do the surfing. Right? And a big wave comes and they drop off, then they again, and they just do surfing. So you may go to Vrindavan and then you may go to Loi Bazaar and drink nice lassi and samosa and then cake and pizza and a dip in the holy Yamuna and a darshan here and a darshan there, and you haven't chanted your 16 rounds until evening, and then you go up to Nandgaon and Govardhan, and 3 days you have zoom, 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 barabara zoom, sharabi. So you didn't get much. It was like more of a manoranjan, mental gratification. The other type of devotee is a deep diving. So they don't go to so many places on a yatra. They have a specific plan that this time we will just go to, Vrindavan. We will attend the Mangala Aarti. Then we will chant more rounds in Prabhupada Samadhi. Maybe 32 rounds, maybe 48 rounds, maybe 64 rounds. Then maybe do a couple of hours reading. Then go to Yamuna and do some manan, how I am doing since last 10 years in my spiritual life, right? Like that. And they do that for 3 days continuously. They don't go here, there. Next trip, they will go somewhere else. So it's a deep diving. That impression will be there for the rest of your life, what you pick up on that. So, what is my Dham Yatra like? Surfing, deep diving. How can I make it more better like that? How is my association? Do I have a solid one-on-one association with an advanced devotee in 2025? How many hours were of one-to-one Guyam Akhyati Prachati? What were my questions? What were the answers? Did I implement those? Like that. This is how a serious devotee works, sadhaka. This is a real sadhaka. So this is how you reflect on your sadhu sang, nam sankirtan, bhagavad shravan, and how is my deity worship? Do I feel joy when I go in front of the deities? Or I'm just passing time? It's just a rule, niyam agraha, Is it mechanical? Like recently, one devotee came and told me, like, it's 20 years, but it's just mechanical. The chanting, everything is like mechanical. So, if you don't reflect, many years go by just like that. That's why every Ekadasi to Ekadasi, if you do this, everything will start getting aligning and you will be on a fast track. You'll be on a fast track. This is a general spiritual growth manan, then it will be specific. Like the Sadvipu. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is my lust level, anger, greed, envy, fault finding, on the anarthas? You can actually do the reflection on your anarthas. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much is my offense number 1? How many devotees do I criticize? How many times do I criticize? How many times do I find faults? Daily, in a month, what is the monthly average of my fault finding, criticizing? If you work like this, God, 100, you're moving at 100 kilometers per hour, instead of just reading, hearing, and not doing any manan. So this is how you go. Is there an issue that I can't seem to wrestle down? Is there something that there's no solution? So then what will you do? What will you do if there's no solution to something? What will you do? Some answer? We'll ask someone. Yes, whom we will ask? Some senior devotee whom we have a good relationship, right? So that question is in your diary. So how to associate with the devotee one-to-one? I will tell you that. That's a sandwich program. That's called a sandwich program. First, you do manan and prepare your 3 questions that you want to ask him, which you really need the answers to make your progress, right? That's your first bread level sandwich, 2 breads and whatever, vada pav, whatever. Cheese, tomato. Then your meeting is in the in between. When you meet the sadhu, you ask those 3 questions. He gives you the answers. If you have any questions regarding that, you ask again and then you get the answers. So 1 hour or 2 hours manan before meeting the sadhu on a one-to-one, right? And you have got your 3 questions, not more, not less. Then you meet for half an hour, 1 hour, and you get the answers. You note them down. Then again, after that, you find some nice time, chant nicely, read nicely, and again manan, again manan. This is sandwich. Manan, association. This is how you associate on a one-to-one. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that the platform Sangha, like I'm giving class and you are hearing, this is like platform. You get a lot of knowledge, information, but you don't get specific answers. And you cannot also ask specific personal questions, right? So you get a lot more benefit on a one-to-one because you can confidently reveal your heart at that time. So that association is much more powerful. And if it is done in a systematic way, you just don't talk कि क्या चल रहा है महाराज, ठीक चल रहा है, सब चल रहा है, घर में क्या चल रहा है, ये ठीक है, बच्चे की पढ़ाई हो रही है, ये हो रही है, शादी होगी, ठीक है, और क्या चल रहा है, बस ठीक है, सेवा हो रहा है, ये हो रहा है. क्वेश्चन स्पिरिचुअल तो पूछा ही नहीं. कुछ पूछना है नहीं है, तो वैसे कुछ नहीं, सेवा चल रहा है, ये चल रहा है बस. This was what was the association. So that was not the right way to associate. So in your second manan, after the association, you try to understand the answers, and then you have to go on to the next subject matter, which will explain nidhidhyasana. How will you implement those things? How will you bring about those changes? How will you apply those answers in your life? Right? Just by hearing, you can understand how rich this is, the Sangha. If you do it rightly, it's very powerful. That's why he said, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi Hoy. Just 1/11th of a second of sung like this can change your life. You know? That is Lava Matra. Otherwise, you can just go on hearing and reading, and basically you feel stuck. So you go and meet. If you can't get some solution, you're not making progress, then you have to go and find out. Am I experiencing stagnation in my life? So in order to understand this question, you have to draw a graph, the levels of bhakti, Adav, Shraddha, Sadhusang, Bhajan, Kriya, Anat, Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav, on one, on another side, 0, year 1, year 2, year 10, year 20, like that, and draw your graph. It's not going up. Why it's not going up? Like Guru Maharaj taught me that if you're not making progress, then see the back steps. If you are not crossing anarthas, your anarthas are not becoming less. Check your Shraddha. Is your Shraddha pure? Have you got the right Shraddha? Is there some defect in the Shraddha? Second is Adav Shraddha Sadhusam. Check your Sadhusam. What defects there in the Sadhusam? Next is Bhajan Kriya. So if you have faults in your faith, in your association, and in your sadhana, then how can you grow? So you have to correct those faults, right? So by drawing a graph, you have a growth plan and you can see whether you're growing, and you're not growing, you see the back steps, correct the whatever is in whichever, and then sometimes it might be just health. Health is not supporting. You sit for chanting and you cannot do intense chanting, and then so maybe you need to Get your diet right, your exercise right, your sleep right. I know of a devotee, he gets up like 2 o'clock. I told him, stop it, get up late, get up 3:30, but he cannot understand it. So he's not doing manan. But what happens? He gets up 2 o'clock, then he does his seva and all that. But during chanting and during class, he's always sleeping because he's not getting sufficient rest. But he's also not ready to listen and try it out. So like this, you have to. It may not be actually the sadhana, but maybe the health. That you're not eating, you're trying to be too austere, and then your body is not, you don't have the energy level. So many things can be there. Otherwise, why would Srila Prabhupada say health sadhana seva? Am I failing to win the most important relationships in my life? What's missing and what can I do to serve them better? So, how to improve relationships? Maybe within the family, if there's always clashes, then your mind is upset. How are you going to chant if you don't have a peaceful mind? So, how do you solve those things? Or maybe in the temple, you relationship issue with the authority. You may have a relationship or issue with your counselor. You may even have a relationship problem with your guru. All these things are there. Solve them, you know. And if you can't solve them on your own, you got to take help and then be ready to change. Because we said knowledge means awareness, acceptance, change. Third stage is change. Change is difficult, but change is necessary. Jiva Goswami says the main business of a devotee is change of heart. Do I need to examine or re-examine my purpose? Sometimes we initially had a lot of enthu, but now we are keeping, like Jagadananda Pandit, he explains in Prema Vivarta, we are trying to cross the river with one foot in one boat and another foot in another boat. So we want to be successful spiritually and materially. We have big material goals and big spiritual goals. The ideal thing is that you have a... See, Krishna is very caring as far as your necessity is there. Maybe comfort sometimes, but luxury, he wants to cut it off. Right? So if your needs, he is not going to cut off your needs, basic needs. He will give you your needs. Right? And then he wants to really give you a lot of spiritual gifts. What should I be doing that I am not doing now? Manan. NIDHIDHYASANA. Right? Do I need to forgive someone? This is a big one. For this, you should have forgiveness workshop, forgiveness seminar. And then, like, you can have a special Manan session where you write down all the people you had issues and clashes with. And then you start forgiving one and clearing it. Because if you don't forgive someone, you carry that karma, and just to finish that karma, you'll have to come again. So you better close the karma account leisure for once for all by forgiveness. So, is there someone, that question addresses someone whom you can't forgive? Then why are you not forgiving? If you don't forgive, what will happen? You will carry this on, you want to carry on, or you want to close it. And then you have to forgive and let go. That is the meaning of tarorapi sahisnuna. Sahisnuna means not just tolerating. In fact, Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, Vriksham shamagun korovi sadhan pratihimsa tyajye anya korovi palan. He says three things: tolerate, forgive, and take care of even those people who have hurt you. Three things. That means you have no relationship issue. I tolerate, I forgive, but I don't want to see you. I want to stay away from you. That is neutral but not positive. Right? Do I value people? Do I value myself? Do I value where I'm right now? So whatever place you are, sometimes if we think about progress, then we might get depressed. So at least we should have gratitude, because if you see millions of living entities, where are they? They're nowhere. We are much better off than them. Even if we are Kanishta, even with all our faults, we are still better off. So sometimes you need to make a victory log. How you were successful in this life. You chanted so many rounds, you got dham yatra, you had so much prasadam, and you did this right, and you served this, and you took initiation, and so many things. And then, because if you don't have the self-esteem, then how will you have the utsa? So this is self-compassion. There's a self-compassion triangle, self-empowerment triangle, which means that you have self-discipline, you have self-confidence, and self-compassion. That empowers you. When was the last time I left my comfort zone? Today, in the morning. Many people just left it, didn't even come. 48 rounds is for someone who's not chanting, you're leaving your comfort zone. If you stay all night on Ekadasi, Srila Prabhupada has made it very, very easy for us. But gradually we need to, if possible, stretch. So the gopis are asking Srimati Radharani that how do you get Krishna? And Radharani, this is in Garga Samhita, and Radharani is saying by Ekadasi Vrata. So what is the real Ekadasi Vrata? The real Pakka standard? It may not be feasible if you have bodily ailments and all that. You eat in the afternoon one time on Dwadasi. You don't eat in the evening. You sleep on the floor at night on Dwadasi. Ekadasi has to be nirjal, without sleeping in the day or the night, and with lots of bhajan. And then you just break your fast with 1 grain in the fast breaking time, and you take your prasad on lunchtime in Dwadasi. This is a real Ekadasi standard. I have done this before, now I am also not doing that. In London, I have done this, so I know what it is. What piece of advice would you give your younger self? So we came. For example, I started in 1990. I came to Krishna consciousness, and I was 30 years old at that time when I joined, and now I'm 65. So, what advice would I give that young 30-year-old if I had to walk this path again? What would be my advice? Supposing I become a guru of that person who is going to start the journey, you know. So definitely I have wasted a lot of time. It took me a lot of time to realize, that how to do proper sadhana and this manan and all that. There was lots of periods in my life that I have not grown. Many years we did so many sevas, but we didn't actually grow. Why we didn't grow? Because we didn't go deep in the Shastra. We just do things like, mechanically like that. And this is we didn't associate on a one-to-one with senior devotees. We were also misconception. We are doing association. So many tattva vibrahma, misconceptions. So if you do this reflection, that if you had to start the journey all over again, what would you do? So you'll have some answers. So now what's holding you back? Do it now. You already spent 35 years. Now you know. So from now, your journey must be super. Right? So you can see how powerful this manan is. Very powerful. That's why he says you get 100 times benefit by doing manan than just hearing or reading. Now we have given you some examples of questions for fault finding, criticizing, and prejudice. So we will just go over this, but you need to do your manan on this. Right? So the first question is, what will be the loss if you do not give up fault finding, criticizing, prejudice in 1 year, 5 years, or you cannot give up even at the end of life? What will happen to you? If you just do this, then you'll wake up. You got to stop it. Or at least you got to cut it by half and then again by half. You have to do something. You can't go on with this. Right? Are you opting for discipline or regret regarding fault finding, criticizing, prejudice? In life, you always have two types of pain. One is the pain of discipline. You got to wake up and you got to sit here and you got to do your 48 rounds. The other thing is, if you don't do this and you miss it, then you regret, oh, I had a chance, but I didn't do 48 rounds. I had a chance, but I didn't associate. I had a chance, but I wasted 35 years. Like that. So either there's the pain of discipline. What is discipline? Do what you have to do, whether you like it or not, and don't do what you don't have to do, even if you like it. Right? That is discipline. So in a success psychology, they say there are 1,000 success principles. And the king of them is self-discipline. And the second success principle is learn from the experts. Now, how does this tally with what Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives for spiritual success? Sadhu Sang, Sharanagati. So, Sadhu Sang is learning from the experts, and Sharanagati is self-discipline. Anukulyasa sankalpa, patikulyasa varjana. But Sharanagati is a much more holistic self-discipline, because ultimately it's aligning all your desires with Krishna's desire. Right? So without Sanatana Goswami, he says, how can we know that in someone, pure faith has awakened? Pure faith. What is pure faith? There is mixed faith, there is pure faith. What is pure faith? For example, so here I have 5 notes of 500, right? And like we say, na, dao lagao, right? So pure faith means that by pleasing Krishna, I will be pleased. I will get Divya Anand, transcendental happiness, by just forgetting my happiness. So now what people do, ठीक है, Krishna, for Krishna pleasure, 1,000. For my pleasure, 1,500. Or some devotees will do for Krishna, okay. इतना तो हमारे लिए pure faith means don't worry about your pleasure, do everything for Krishna's pleasure. This is pure faith. So how can we, Sanatana Goswami is saying, how can we understand that in someone pure faith has awakened? If that devotee is practicing Sada Sharanagati, 6 limbs of Sharanagati, Anukulyasa Sankalpa, Pratikulyasa Varjana, Rakshyasiti Visvaso, Goptritve Varanam, Karpanye Atma Nikshep. 6. He's practicing, trying to practice. That means he's trying to go for pure devotional service, Shuddha Bhakti. What Mahaprabhu has come to give, what Prabhupada has come to give. So like that, you have to reflect. What will be the benefits of giving up fault finding, criticizing, prejudice? So you have some mic? Somebody can say, what will happen if you stop criticizing, fault finding and prejudice? Who wants to say? Go ahead.
We can see everyone as our friends.
Mm.
We can be happy with everyone.
Right. Yeah, you will start growing. The moment you start, Mahaprabhu has given a guarantee. Nirapradi nam loe. that if you stop criticizing and fault finding with devotees, I will definitely give you Krishna Prem. If you stop Vaishnava Prad. Yes, go ahead, Prabhu. Yeah, first you will have peace of mind, but you'll have much more than peace of mind. You'll have transcendental happiness. You will have Nayanam Galadashru, Romancha Kampashru. All these things will happen. It is offenses which block us, offenses which make our heart steel framed, and we don't experience any ecstasy. Tadasmasaram Hridaya Bateyam. No? Okay, we will move on. How pleased will you be upon being non-judgmental and non-envious? We have to conceive, this thing. Then you can go for it. If you think there is no benefit in this thing, you will not try for it. So that's why these questions are meant to give you like what a pure devotee, how he thinks, how a saint thinks, how he behaves, You can't just go on behaving anyhow and just keep on chanting and expect all the good results. You got to correct yourself. You have to strenuously work to remove your bad habits, which fault finding, criticizing, prejudice is one. What is holding you back? This question you can ask for everything. What is holding you back in chanting purely? What is holding you back in surrendering fully? What is holding you back in giving up material desires completely? Like that, And you have to answer. You don't just ask question. Manan is not just asking question, but you have to answer it. You yourself have to ask the question and you have to answer it. Try to answer it. Find the answers by reading, hearing, or if you can't, then go to someone and find the answers. Can you be an authentic devotee without being free from prejudice, fault finding, criticizing? Right? It's a clear answer. You can't. So you got to stop it. So how will you stop it? Are you avoiding to know regarding prejudice, criticism, and fault finding? This we do. If we hear there's a seminar on criticizing, fault finding, how many will attend? No, Prabhu, we already know it. Nobody likes to go to a cutting sadhu. People like to a flattery sadhu who flatters the audience, That's why you see that where the real topics are discussed, audience is few. And where there is mental gratification, thousands of people will go and hear that katha and all that. But what benefit that professional speaking will do, You will never get the change of heart. So in order to become sincere and serious devotee, you have to hear the truth, find it out, and make changes. So not avoid, but you should be eager to know. So even when you associate with your counselor or your spiritual master, you can ask this question. Maharaj, please frankly tell me what's my fault. What do you see? Where do I need to work on? This is a good question to ask. If you don't have any question, this is a good one to ask. Please tell me, where do I need to work on? What do you see in me? What is lacking in me? Because if nothing was lacking in you, you would be in Golok. But you're not. You're in Bhulok. Now this is more strategic. When do you get implicated? When do you criticize fault? With which devotee, when you associate, you always end up criticizing others. So then avoid association with that devotee. When you have not done sadhana nicely, then you start doing this. So be careful like that. You have to take precautions so that you don't get implicated, right? Whose help you are going to take to be free from this fault finding, criticizing, prejudice? You should know a specific person you're going to go, specific seminar you're going to attend, retreat, books you're going to read, lectures you're going to hear. You got to have a plan. Do this so that डॉक्टर के पास गया, हाँ ये बीमारी है, अब क्या करना, बस घर जाओ, दवा ववा कुछ नहीं है, ऐसे थोड़ी चलता है ना? So Manan is not end of the game. After Manan, there is Nidhidhyasana. So pain, how are you suffering? How are you suffering now because of all the criticisms you did, the prejudice you did, the fault finding you did? How you are suffering? You're not growing. Last 10 years, you're not made progress. You're not getting any taste in chanting. That's all the pain, right? Otherwise, you should be on ecstasy level. So now is Nidhidhyasana. And Shankaracharya says that by implementing, you get 10,000 times more benefit than just hearing and reading, or 100 times more benefit than Manan, So you do 1 hour of implementation is equal to 10,000 hours of hearing and reading. Can see the difference? 10,000 hours of hearing and reading and just 1 hour of implementation. That's how powerful implementation is. So a lot of devotees, they don't know how to implement, So we will show you some points. For Nidhidhyasana to work, the first thing you need is self-discipline, right? Because without self-discipline, you will make a lot of plans and do nothing. You'll just keep planning and do nothing, right? So you need to boost your self-discipline, right? So you need to have self-discipline quotes and pep up yourself, The path of least resistance is what causes people to take the easy way in almost every situation, right? People are finding easy way. They don't want to do tapasya, They want to do things easy. Like we discussed yesterday, in chanting, what is easy? Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama. I just chant, I don't hear. It's very easy. Autopilot chanting. But that's not getting you there. You have to chant and hear, and make sure you're hearing properly. And then there are further steps. Most people do what is fun and easy, but that is not going to get you there. Tapo divyam putraka. This human life is not meant for easy and fun, it's meant for tapasya, to get the eternal happiness. Successful people make a habit of doing the things that unsuccessful people don't like to do. This is the difference. Why Krishna is saying Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kaschit. Because, like successful people, they will do all these things. Reading Prabhupada's books, attending morning program, doing MANANA, NIDHIDHYASANA, working on their anarthas, you know. Prabhupada said, no lazy, no crazy. In the ashram, there should not be lazy guys and crazy guys, you know. Self-discipline is the key to self-esteem, self-respect, self-image and success. Self-discipline, you know. Self-discipline enables you to go uphill. You don't require self-discipline to go downhill. Moves you from good intentions to good actions. Self-discipline is the bridge which is between the goals and accomplishment. Your goal is Krishna Prem, but to accomplish Krishna Prem, you need self-discipline. Otherwise, it's not possible. You have to implement everything. Thinking will help change downhill habits to uphill habits. So now, speed of implementation. If two devotees are there, who makes fast progress? Because both have the same books. All of you have the same books of Prabhupada. You have the same mantra, you have the same prasadam, you have the same deities. So why different devotees are making different progress on different levels at different speed? Why? Speed of implementation. They are not implementing fast. Some are not, some few days, like that, right? So you hear so many times, you read so many times, but you don't implement. Speed of implementation. The one who implements the fastest grows first. Disciplined people avoid temptation. You know. What is the business of Maya? Maya's business is to give you temptation. You know, put the bait. Maya's business is to throw bait in front of you. And this is Maya's duty, to check you out. So Maya, what it will do, now you become serious and sincere. So Maya's first test is will give you a package. 2.5 CR. Now your chanting goes down, reading goes down, you don't have time for association, ho gaya. If you are not buying that, then the second thing is Sundarim. For Prabhuji it is Sundarim, for Mataji it's Sundaram. Right? If you don't even buy that bait, then the third bait is position, fame, followers. Right? So you have to have this mantra with you. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. Maya will say, dhanam, na dhanam, na dhanam, janam, na janam, na janam, sundarim, na sundarim, na sundarim. When Maya is satisfied that this guy is serious, okay, now you can go. Maya has to give you visa. NOC. Visa come from top. Without NOC, you don't get visa. Discipline makes consistency possible, right? If you are a very disciplined person, then you can consistently chant nicely, read, hear like that. Do it now. Disciplined person can do it now. Start from today. And disciplined person, he starts off with baby steps. He doesn't expect overnight he's going to become a Mahabhagavat, Start with baby steps. So now is the real NIDHIDHYASANA, art of implementing, right? So first you have to acquire knowledge by hearing, reading, seminars, retreats. And for all this, you must invest 2% of your income. This is the minimum that successful materialists do. They train, they educate. So similarly, if you want to grow spiritually, you must get all Prabhupada's library and you must get the Prabhupada's lectures and you must go out and take association of your spiritual master and do everything to grow. You must invest. Understanding and reflecting. You must do manan. You must have a regular manan session. You must have a plan. Every this Ekadasi or every Sunday you will do manan. Like that. You must, and then you must have the subject matter and then you must reflect on that subject matter. You must have a goal with timeline. You must have a spiritual goal with timeline. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, that on the level of sadhana bhakti, our goal should be bhava bhakti. And when we have come to bhava bhakti, our goal should be prema bhakti. And we should be making efforts according to goal. If you want to earn 1 crore, you have to make so much effort. If you want to make 10 crores, you have to make so much effort. And we should be careful that because of inattention or distraction, we don't get deviated from the goal. Right? Our focus should be clear. So that you should have a goal. And with timeline means, okay, I will reach Nishtha Bhakti. First you have to find out all things you have to do to come to Nishtha. Then you can make a timeline. You cannot just make blind sort of guess. So how much work you have to do and how much time you are going to spend daily to do that work, and then how many years it will take to complete that syllabus. Right? So then you say you have a goal that I will reach this level of bhakti by Kartik 2029, like that. And then you have to have a list of all the things you have to do, and you start doing them. Right? This is art of implementation. Daily knowledge sheet reading. So you must have knowledge sheets. See, like here we have all different knowledge sheets. Like this is Sadbhavana Vati, right? And this is Acharan Rasayan, how to behave properly. This is Dainya Virechan, humility. This is Nirbharta, depending on Krishna. This is Labh Puja Pratishtha, right? This is real identity. This is tolerance and forgiveness. This is freedom from criticizing, fault finding, Tiraskar Gugul. This is strategy to avoid lust. This is Sankalpa Mantra. This is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur self-realization. This is quality chanting knowledge sheet. So to read this sheet, it only takes, if you focus on 2-3 sheets, it only takes you 10-15 minutes. And you get revised, Otherwise, what's happening? You are reading every day different thing, and what you are reading previously, forgotten. So if I have knowledge which is here, it's not helping me. It has to be here, right? Supposing a terrorist is coming here and I have my gun, but I'm looking and he will go boom, So what's the use? Maya is faster than the terrorist. Who is faster, you think, the terrorist or Maya? Good. So get your gun ready. Knowledge, gun of knowledge. How to protect yourself, how to shield yourself, right? So by reading daily, see, because knowledge has to bring changes where? In the behavior. In the mental behavior and the physical behavior. Right? If this knowledge is not implemented there, if your thinking is not disciplined, then how you'll make progress? So you have to have discipline in character-based thinking. Raghukul Riti prana jaye, vachan na jaye. This will not happen automatically. You got to get discipline in character-based thinking. Why do I think this lousy thoughts? Like that. You have to, this is even tougher, to correct your thinking and all that. But by reading, hearing, associating, chanting, and then reading the same knowledge. So where all this knowledge sheet is come from? It's come from scripture. Only thing is we have taken all the diamond points and put there. So you don't have to search. You can't search 10 books every day, no? But to read just one sheet, one A4 size, is so easy. Takes 3 minutes. And so if you have a specific problem, Like what happens? You go to a doctor and he gives you one medicine, one tablet a day, and your disease is not going. So you go next time, he says 2 tablets a day. Is not going, so he says 3 tablets a day, right? So we also say your problem is not going, read it morning and evening. Your problem is not going, read it 3 times, like that. And then we have like the affirmations, sankalpa mantra, intention. So you have that small mala, 27 beats. So you start running that. Matrivat paradareshu, Matrivat paradareshu, Matrivat paradareshu. I am seeing all Matajis as Shri Krishna's gopis. I am seeing all Matajis as Shri Krishna's gopis. And you keep on doing that and reading the knowledge sheet until you see them as gopis and not anything else. Right? I am seeing good in everyone. Like that. So before these things was not necessary. Because people used to be Shrutidhar, they used to remember. Guru Mukha Vatana Vakya Chitete Koriya. Guru told me not to see faults, not to make offense. I'm not making offense. It was too easy. But now people are very complicated, crooked mentality and all that. So they got to hammer with this knowledge, not that hammer. Not that hammer, but this hammer of knowledge. So you have to have knowledge sheets to focus on one subject. What you focus upon expands. So you work on one thing at a time and get it cleared. Daily affirmation, I said. Visualization. You have to visualize yourself as a good devotee, advanced devotee, real sadhu with sadhu qualities. See yourself in the future becoming a proper, authentic devotee, free from lust, anger, greed, criticism, fault finding. Daily practice at least 5 things that will help you go towards your goal. Plan specific 5 things which will help you move fast. Like you could say, okay, I will do MANANA every day for 5 minutes. I will do Sankalpa Mantra every day for 5 minutes. I will do my chanting with much better, at least my first 4 rounds with full focus, like that. To have some rules to control yourself. There must be measurement. What you measure dies. See, if we have news that there is a terrorist in this Goshala and we don't know where the terrorist is hiding, that is very dangerous. But once we have identified that he is in this corner, in this room, now it's easy to capture him. We can send the guards and shoot him down, right? So, when you measure how many criticisms you do, this Gurijan Prabhu has taught in his Japa retreat before in Barsana. So you have those yellow rubber bands. So every time you criticize someone, you take the rubber band from this hand and put it on this hand. Then again you criticize this. So you remember how many times you change the rubber band or how many times you criticize in one day. And you put in your diary that today is the 14th Feb. So 7 times I criticized. Then you make a monthly total. That's in the month of January, so much February so much, daily average so much. So you are watching how many times you are criticizing. So already you have cornered that guy. The strength, it becomes weak. The fault finding fault in you becomes weak, because you have identified it and you are focusing on that. And then you give the Sankalpa mantra that I am seeing good in everyone and all that. And the knowledge sheet of fault finding, you're reading every day and you're hearing lectures about not criticizing, all these things you're doing, right? And you're measuring. So you're identifying the disease and you're taking the medicine. If the count is not going down, then you increase the medicine, right? And what happens? It goes. So we had one devotee in our temple. He started counting, and his count in the first month came like, he's saying, I'm making 50 criticisms per day. What the hell is, what's the use of counting? I said, you just count and do nothing else. And he did nothing else. He just kept counting. I said, at least keep counting for 1 month. Let's see what happens. So next month it went down to 10 per day. That's a big change, right? Just by counting, he was not reading knowledge sheet or anything. So that's how powerful measurement is. Because measurement will also help you know where you are. If you don't know where you are, where are you going? Then how are you going to go? So measurement helps. So this is one thing. You should have a small diary and you can measure all these things, whatever you want to work on. Quality of chanting, normally we have the normal sadhana card, you came to morning program, you did this. This is like even an advanced level where you start working on all your things. Accountability partner. Now, most people are not so disciplined. So it's good if you have some friend, you tell him, I'm working on this. Every evening, remind me whether I did this or not. It could be a roommate, could be your family member. Did you read Bhagavatam? You took a vow to read Bhagavatam for 20 minutes. Have you finished? Better go and finish it. Like that. So somebody is there to push you, right? So accountability partner. All this is implementation, NIDHIDHYASANA. Ask for feedback from close friends. Generally, devotees will not give feedback. They don't give feedback. But you need to have someone who will give you feedback. And I've seen they don't give you feedback, but they give others feedback. So what I do, some devotee, supposing he's asking me, where do I need to work on, give me feedback. So I will ask 4 or 5 guys, and they will tell me about him. Then I said, maybe you need to work on this. They know, but they are not telling. But somebody will tell you, it's good. Then the most important thing in implementation is to take coaching. Have a one-on-one session with your spiritual guide, coach, counselor, guru, like that. And you have to do your weekly mantra. All this is implementation. Now, self-coaching. Next. These are 8 questions that you ask yourself when you do your weekly manan. Because every time you don't get a chance to associate with your counselor or your guru, but this you can do regularly. You coach yourself by asking these questions and writing down the answers and working on them. Which devotee did I associate with and serve last week? A very easy question. Because if you are not serving devotees, if you are not associating with devotees, you need to work on it. Otherwise, what will happen? We showed in the morning, deep insights from last week and what I shall implement. So we see if you don't go for these 8 questions, your 10 years are going and you don't know what's going on. Right? So you can just work weekly, at least monthly. Did I do something out of my comfort zone but good for my progress past week? So for next week, you can say, yes, I went and chanted, tried to chant 48, but I couldn't. Any block, anything that was not allowing you to move forward, broken promise, procrastination you experienced past week. What bold action step I shall take to move me towards my goal next week? What is holding me back? Am I taking full responsibility for my efforts? Am I praying daily sincerely for mercy? Right? So this is the whole process. Shravan, Manan, Nidhidhyasana. Do you think it's good, this process? Doesn't seem very good. Because they haven't done it. And they are afraid that will they be able to do all this, right? No, but you can start off with baby steps. Even if you do 10 minutes, weekly just 10 minutes of Manan, 10 minutes of Nidhidhyasana, monthly 1 hour of self-coaching, you will find tremendous. You will start moving. Most devotees, they get stagnated after some time. And if they don't take this thing seriously, then they may end up in the heaven. They thought they are going to Goloka, but they go and take a joyride in Swarga first. They come back, then they become serious next life. So time and tide wait for no man, right? So Chanakya Pandit says you have to live your life with death in front of you. Any moment death can come. So we have shared this with all of you. So you need to revise because we just went briefly because we don't have so much time, right? So any questions on this we can answer and then we can end the session. Hare Krishna.
It's a fine for me. Suppose anybody does mistakes in our family. Should I find the fine fault or not? Should I correct them or not?
See, if you are in an office, if you are in a family, and somebody is doing something wrong, and it's your duty, your elder, your authority, you are in a position, then it's your duty to correct them. Or even as a friend, you can tell in a very humble way that it will be nice if you correct yourself like this, like that. When you are in spiritual circles, then unless you are guru, shiksha guru, counselor or authority, then it's best not to tell. You can go and tell their counselor if you want, but don't tell them directly, because they will take offense and that will block your spiritual progress. So this doesn't mean that we don't correct anyone. Like the police has to correct the citizens, so he has to do his job, the duty has to be done. But what is the mentality behind them? And there are two types of criticizing. One is constructive criticism and one is not constructive, right? So when a thing is done for the benefit of our family members, our children, our partner, our office business, then that is natural. But that should not become our nature, that we look at faults in everything. Our nature should be like Yudhishthir Maharaj, that to try to see good in everything, and where there is correction necessary, if we are in a position to correct, then we say, otherwise we overlook that. Because in spiritual life, it does not help to always see people's faults, but it helps to see people good.
Finding fault are there just people who correct them. They do intentional.
Yeah, if they are doing if they are doing in family, you do that, right? If you are doing in the spiritual circle, then their authority will take care of them, Krishna will take care of them. That's why in family you have to do your duty. Harish. Manan is reflective thinking and Smaran is remembering. Remembering the form of Krishna, remembering the name of Krishna, remembering the Leela, like that. And then Smaran, there are different degrees also. So it's different.
I heard all statements like that. What we eat. So, what we eat, so how you are taking, how much of we are taking. So, based on this, they are taking certain effect on both process. Is there any effect on that?
Yeah, there is. So, how many rounds do you chant? 16. You are still to take initiation. Okay. So it's this answer is different for different levels, right? So for you, you can take a lot of prasadam. It's good for you. In the beginning, when somebody is coming, like they used to come in the West, and devotees they stopped meat eating, and they used to eat so much halwa, you know. Like 5 devotees will eat so much halwa, but one devotee would eat so much halwa. And nobody stopped them because it's good for them. But that cannot go on forever. Right? It will purify you at that level. But now you have taken initiation, you are 10 years. So now you should eat what you need, become more sattvic. You should not eat for gratification, but Sayanamrita Pao, Radha Krishna Gunagao, to maintain your body and with gratitude and glorifying the Lord. With this, you should eat the prasadam. That will help you a lot more. Otherwise, you are 10 years, but you are still eating like a baby, spiritual baby. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we have to think of Krishna and be gratitude. Krishna is giving us such nice prasad to purify our senses. For purification, we should eat. By prasadam, we will get purified. This is a big topic. How the prasad is prepared, who is preparing, so many factors are there. Okay? Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande.
Whenever we hear the words, we believe that it was the real verse very much. And we do one more thing that okay, today not possible, tomorrow onwards. Today may not be possible, tomorrow onwards. And tomorrow we will start up with many responsibilities. And again we will meet over the afternoon morning. And sometimes we will forget the so in how to
So that's why you have to do manan. You have to start doing manan on a regular basis and make your graph that how many years you have spent and you didn't do this and you didn't really grow. Because when you draw your graph, you will come to know that many times your graph didn't went up, and sometimes it also goes down, and sometimes it's just flat, your stagnation is there. So why the stagnation is there? The more you realize that when you're not doing things properly, you stagnate, then you will force yourself to do the things which will help you move. So manan is the key. You have to do manan on a regular basis. If you don't do manan, then at some point you're going to just get busy, and it is called, in one sense, in psychological terms, it is called action illusion. You're doing so many things, but you're not going ahead. You're doing so much seva, you're doing so much sadhana, but you're not moving forward. Or you're just keeping yourself busy and not doing what you should actually be doing. Like some devotees, they want to escape seva, so they said, my chanting is not finished. So similarly, we can like escape doing this thing which is in the beginning very bitter, But if you don't do it, then what will happen? So like you can have put a question. If you don't do manan, what will happen to your life, spiritual life? If you just do hearing and reading, but no manan, no nidhidhyasan, what will happen to you? Will you go back home, back to Godhead with this? So you got to answer this question seriously. You really got to put your thoughts into it. Then you will wake up. So balance is required. Prabhupada never said that you don't take care of your health, don't take care of your sadhana, you just do seva, 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 seva. He never said that. He said balance. First take care of your health, then good sadhana, then seva. Now, what is sadhana? What is real hearing? Am I like that? We heard one type of negative listener who hears and tells others but does not implement. So, what is the use of that? So, like that, we have to reflect, and we have to become smart. We have to do what is most important and then delegate lot of other things to others. Instead of being just like running around here and there and then getting exhausted and then not having time for good hearing, reading, like that, it's not going to help. It doesn't help. You ask any senior devotee, they all gone through that. We have all done that. You don't grow that way. Better you go systematically and slowly. So you have to do manan to realize this and then force yourself with baby steps. Make plans and then follow that.